And this is a Fox News alert as protests are spreading over President Trump's travel ban. Here in Washington, protesters are demonstrating right outside the White House. This video coming in just the past few minutes. Administration officials say President Trump's executive order is aimed to prevent terror, citing national security concerns. It looks like these are live pictures now outside the White House from Lafayette Park. Protests are planned in dozens of cities across the country, including New York, where Senator Chuck Schumer wrapped up a press conference demanding the president overturn his, quote, awful order.
This executive order was mean-spirited and un-American.
An emotional Chuck Schumer. This after a night of protests at some of the nation's largest airports, including New York's JFK, and that is where we find our Bryan Llenas, who has been there since this controversy began early yesterday morning. Hi, Bryan.
Hi, Leland. Well, let's update our viewers on the numbers that we have right now. There are currently 8 people that are still detained here at JFK. 6 people were released earlier today, 2 in the morning and 4 a little over an hour ago. Of those 8 that remain detained, we're talking about the brother and son of a cancer Sloan researcher that is coming from Iran. We're also talking about the mother of an active U.S. Marine who was traveling here, and the active Marine had to come up from North Carolina and is now in JFK waiting for his mother, who's been detained since yesterday. This, of course, as there are hundreds of lawyers all around the country that are working to get people that have visas and green cards who were detained under Trump's travel ban released. If you look at this photo, you'll see here at JFK, these are just some of the lawyers that have been working, from volunteer lawyers, to get these people released and to get the court documents in so that they may be released. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York says that they expect all 14 people, or the 8 remaining here at JFK, to be released by the end of the day. And take a look at this video. This is an emotional scene of an Iraqi man and his fiancee reuniting. The 21-year-old female arrived from Iraq. They are set to get married in March. She was held for over 24 hours, and this is what he had to say before they reunited.
We're not terrorists. She's not terrorist. She's a 21-year-old, most beautiful woman you could probably meet. Initially, they were bad because they handcuffed her. It's getting a little bit better now. She hasn't ate maybe in 2 days. She was crying for the last 2 days, but as of today, it's getting a little bit better.
Of course, all of this after major protests yesterday, hundreds and thousands here at JFK and at Dulles, as well as Logan airports in D.C. and in Boston. Senators Cory Booker and Elizabeth Warren making appearances at both congressmen and congresswomen here in New York, also pleading and speaking to Border Patrol agents, asking for those detained to be released. Of course, the federal judge here in New York granting an emergency stay last night in Brooklyn, which means that these people cannot be deported, but it doesn't mean that they can't be detained, and that is what is happening right now in terms of the negotiations and trying to figure out, these lawyers trying to get these people out from being detained in these airports. There is a judge that ordered in Boston that they may not be detained or deported, and now activist groups are asking for those that are traveling to try to get their flights rerouted into Boston, because the judge there ordered that they can no longer be detained or deported, which is different than what the order came down here in New York. So lots of legal confusion, and activists are saying that they are mobilizing all around the world to make sure that those that have the proper paperwork, the visas and the green cards that were approved way before Trump's ban, are allowed to come into the United States, because they say it is unconstitutional and against their rights for them to not be able to do so from those 7 nations that were included in that ban. Leland?
More questions than answers, sometimes even from the administration. Bryan Llenas at JFK, back to you if news warrants.